Hi everybody, welcome to WildCare. It is a sunny, beautiful day and we are here with our wildlife ambassador gull, there's Herman, and our pelicans in our pool in WildCare's courtyard. Melissa is going to give them some of their very favorite treats. Baja, you can tell, is not super excited to have me in here. He's not accustomed to having me in this enclosure in the camera. But we're going to see if we can get him up on his platform. Melissa has created these platforms for the birds, and they really enjoy them. They, as soon as she put them in, they immediately started sitting on them and sleeping on them. So let's watch them. It is hard to train your pelican, I have to say.
There you go.
Oh, such a beautiful sunny day. We thought we'd bring you out here. So as you probably know, this is the week of Earth Day. Earth Day is tomorrow, April 22nd. And we thought that this would be a good opportunity to talk a little bit about the risks of pollution and waste and detangled fishing line and all those other things on birds like pelicans. Hi, Herman. That's Herman. Yep. On birds like pelicans.
Yeah, so Baja and Marshall here. Baja is actually here for a pollution-related injury. And what happened to him is he got caught up in a fishing line. So he has a injury to his right wing that makes it so he cannot fly properly, because these guys do some really cool aerial maneuvers. When they're hunting, when they're up in the sky, they plunge down into the Pacific Ocean and catch herring and other little fish.
It is amazing what they do, and that's the brown pelican. Of course, the white pelican does have a different type of strategy, but with an injured wing, there'd be no way that Baja, a wing that was injured because he got tangled in fishing line, there'd be no way that Baja would be able to make that dive, right?
Right, and these guys are very curious and intelligent, but what we consider trash, they actually consider to be toys. So not only is fishing line a problem, but also any sort of plastic bottles or maybe plastic bags. You know, a plastic bag could also look like a jellyfish or something fun to eat.
Right.
So that they can, get in a lot of trouble there.
Balloons are another one. I was just looking at on WildCare's website. We have a list of ways that you can help wildlife on Earth Day. We're sending that out in an email today or tomorrow morning, and ways that you can help wildlife. And one of the things that was on there is balloons. Hadn't thought about balloons in a long time, but if you let balloons go, if they take off up into the sky, then of course they drift wherever the winds go, and they end up in the environment and potentially causing an entanglement hazard for animals just like these.
Yeah, and they've done necropsies on, of course, pelicans and gulls and different other types of shorebirds. And in their stomachs, there are all sorts of plastic things. There were, fishing lures. There were bottles to the top of plastic, like a Coke plastic bottle.
Actually, in their stomachs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, isn't that fascinating?
Netting is a problem, because when fishermen are out there, they'll cut the netting if it gets tangled and then just let it drift away. Of course, these guys get caught up in that as well. So it's a lot of different types of entanglements or things that they can consume that can kill them.
Yeah, it really was surprising to me when I first started working at WildCare and hanging out with these guys, just how curious they actually are. Mm-hmm. You sort of, you look at pelicans and they're super prehistoric looking. Look how excited Baja is about his smelt. My goodness, Baja being the brown pelican, of course. But they seem, very prehistoric looking, and they just seem like flying dinosaurs, and you wouldn't expect there to be, as much curiosity or as much personality. You see it in you see a lot of personality in crows, but I don't know why I just never did expect that sort of curiosity in pelicans. And it really is one of the things that causes them tremendous trouble, is that they will see, bits of trash, floating things, and they will sample them with their bills, and they'll lift them up, and they might try to swallow them, and like tooth testing, making sure.
Yeah, or like a shark does. Sharks, they do like a
is this edible?
bite.
I don't know. Let's try it.
Yeah,
and so you end up with these animals getting very, very severely impacted by that sort of plastic waste that we just sort of, thoughtlessly let end up in our environment. And so that's one of the big things on Earth Day, and of course every day, is to really take an inventory of the plastic that you use, really take a look at the things that need to be plastic, the single-use and disposable things that Herman would like another one, I think, Melissa. There we go. Yeah, good girl.
Terminator.
Good girl. Oh, everybody likes smelt. But anyway, taking an inventory of the things that, single-use things, any of the things that you dispose of, and honestly, even the things that you recycle. I know that we feel good about our recycling, and of course, that's something you absolutely should do. But with a lot of plastics, they recycle down to a point where they're not recyclable anymore. And so at that point, those plastic items do end up being garbage, and they do end up in our landfills, or worse, they end up in our waterways, and they affect animals like our pelicans here.
And it can be something as simple as, the tops on like a 6-pack of soda.
6-pack rings, absolutely.
Cut those up. They can get caught in those too. I mean, it can be simple things, just kind of, thinking how when you're recycling and everything like that, how you can break things down, that if for some reason it doesn't there, you know what I mean, there's a chance that these animals can, get away from it or untangle themselves.
Yep. No, it's really true, and so often so you do that again. You're giving them we have no more smelt.
No more. I'm out.
The smelt is done. What do you think, Baha?
They love smelt. They love smelt, but they do eat the herring. Herrings, in comparison, is a higher calorie food. And we do that here because it's good for them to have diversity.
Right. Oh, thank you too, with the wonderful person that just donated $10. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support so much, and everybody that's watching, we appreciate you all too, helping spread the word about WildCare and about the amazing animals, both in our care and also in our educational programs like these guys.
And I'm training them to stand on these platforms, which is working out pretty well. So that they can get their food, because just being one person trying to feed them, you gotta learn how to fling fish. So my game is getting better. But
I bet it is.
I know they're like, I know you're holding out on me. You've got one left. Done. But yeah,
their interaction together is so interesting too. They really have become buddies. I think they.
Yeah, and the interesting thing too is so Baja is pretty much the big brother, although to this little guy, even though he's bigger. So when I come in here and I feed them fish, if he sees that Baja spit out a fish, then he won't eat it.
Oh, really interesting.
But if the big guy eats it, then he'll do it. So he definitely follows the lead of Baja, which is great for being in our program, and it definitely, I think, enriches their lives, both having them both together.
Gina says, I saw brown pelicans on Humboldt Bay a couple of days ago. I bet you did. And it is such an interesting aspect of the shelter in place that a lot of animals that, have stayed away from beaches and stayed away from areas that were occupied by people have started coming back. And I suspect that we will see more and more of that as this continues. And one of the concerns that WildCare has is that once everyone can go outside again, and once everybody is driving again, we're really worried about the impact that's going to have on wildlife populations, because these animals have all gotten used to us not being there. So a cautious re-entry in terms of what we do that affects wildlife is going to be a major thing to think about as we move out of our shelter in place whenever that happens.
Yeah, definitely when you're walking around or when you're driving, and always these guys are running across the roads, or in some cases they're taking naps on the side of the road, because there are no cars. So yeah, you got to be definitely more cautious about, or your eyes more open when you're driving for sure.
Yeah.
And actually, that's actually what Marshall's injury is. He got hit by a truck.
He did. That's right.
So.
That's right.
Both of them have these injuries. Obviously, that goes with pollution, but again, going into the driving, you also have Marshall here, who that happened to, and luckily enough, I mean, he's a pretty tough guy. He had 2 fractured collarbones and a hip, and road rash on his pouch, and he's blind in one eye. But he's a tough guy, so he was able to recover and become part of our program.
Yeah, well, we're very lucky to have him.
Well, I was like, I know you have more.
He's convinced.
He is convinced. He thinks I'm holding out.
Uh-huh. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful sunny day with our beautiful pelicans. Keep an eye out for wildlife. Know that they're out there. Pay attention. If you're walking in your neighborhood, we are getting dozens of baby animals every single day into the wildlife hospital. We're sending them straight out into foster care as soon as we get them, once they're stable. But they're coming in every single day. And so we're asking everybody to keep an eye out. And of course, WildCare is open to take patients with a social distancing protocol we have set up, so you don't have contact with us and we don't have contact with you, but we can still provide the care for the wildlife that needs it. So we're going to let you go. Everybody have a wonderful, safe, and healthy Tuesday. Visit WildCare online at discoverwildcare.org. And please join us again tomorrow at 1 o'clock. I'm hoping we're going to release the pond turtle.
Yes.
We'll see if that's going to work.
So excited about that.
Yep, that'll be good. Look at our pelicans. What are they doing? They're so silly.
They're having a talk. There. I think what Baja's trying to do is to push him off.
Is he?
Yeah. He's
Oh my
trying to push him
goodness.
off that mat. He's like, yeah, no, you got to.
No, I want to be there. Oh, they're so funny.
Yeah.
Awesome. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great afternoon.